So turkey season's coming up in April, and for many other states it's going to be coming up in May. And I just wanted to give a rundown on what I do before I ever enter a property and e-scout for turkeys through the decades of me hunting birds while using the HuntStand app. So the main thing about turkey hunting at all is you got to have somewhere to hunt. Now, a lot of us ain't able to have private lands to be able to hunt turkeys or have permission to be able to hunt birds. But we try to find public lands to be able, or you're traveling in another state and you're trying to find public lands to be able to scout and hunt birds. Now the first thing that you'll do is you'll go into the private land section of the HuntStand app and scroll through a general state area that you're wanting to hunt, and you might already have mapped out. Now whenever you get into the app, what you'll see is when you start scrolling is that everything that is public land will show up in orange, and everything that is private land will show up in kind of a dingy grayish white kind of color. Now another great thing about HuntStand is that you can go in through there and you can go to the land ownership part of the app. Now when you get into the land ownership part of the app, it shows you who owns a certain property, it shows you property line boundaries, everything that you need to know, whether you're trying to enter public land through private land or you're found a piece of private land that might be able to hold birds and you want to check it out. You can get the landowner's name on the piece of property and then check out boundary lines. And then once you find their name, then you can go through a phone book, try call them up. You can find them on Facebook, message them on Facebook, or just drive down there and you can have a first name basis and introduce yourself, knocking on doors to try and get a piece of property and get a hold of a bird. So the first thing that I do whenever I go and try to find a bird is I look for a field. Mainly whenever you're scouting for turkeys or anybody that's ever turkey hunted, birds love to go out early mornings, pitch down off roosts. They love to be out in green fields. They like to be on the tallest point of that field in direct sunlight, because when that sunlight hits their tail fans, I don't know if this is part of trying to get the ladies or not, but when they're out there strutting, if you ever seen a bird when sunlight has hit his tail fan, it just lights his tail fan up and makes it all pretty for the ladies. And every time I've seen a bird in a field, they've been on the highest point in direct sunlight. Now, when I get into that app in HuntStand, I look for, it has amazing 3D imaging and it has amazing resolution in 2D. I can scroll into that app and I can see green fields versus brown half of the fields. Now once I find that, and if I can hunt that property, whether it's on public or private, then what I'll do is I'll determine where I need to set up or where I can set up. Look at tree lines that birds might be roosting. It might be a tree line at the back of a river and the field's down in a river bottom, or it might be a field between two ridges and a green patch, and I can try to set up on where I think them birds are going to pitch down off of roost, or go in there a couple days beforehand and scout that out with binos and try to see where these birds are coming off roost or they're coming back feeding through that field in the afternoon. Now, if you get HuntStand and you get the Pro Whitetail, an awesome thing that you can get is the historical crop information section of HuntStand. And what that gives you is you can look on there, you can see the crops that were on that property, you know, years, might have been last year, 2 years ago, and see if it has corn, had corns, beans, or anything. I have seen more birds in a cut corn field and a picked bean field than anything. Most of the farmers, that's soft dirt, they've worked it up with a disc or a plow, they've planted crops in there, they've come back over it, disced it up, planted winter wheat or something to keep the ground from eroding, but it's soft ground and it's easy, soft, tender plants for the birds to pick, and that's what they like the best. So turkey season kind of has a direct correlation with mushroom season, and I overlooked it a lot whenever I was a kid, but as I started getting older, I started paying attention to the little golden gem in the turkey woods, which was the morel, little tiny mushroom that tastes pretty good in a frying pan, but the turkeys also love it too. Now, when turkeys get off the fields, there's still that weird section of the day that they go into open hardwoods around 9 in the morning to 12 o'clock midday. And what you'll do is them birds will go into these open hardwoods where the sun is shining down on them, and they'll go around, scratch around, and pick and get these morels, or this fresh green up that comes up from the hillside where the sun's hitting down on it. And you'll see all your turkey scratchings around hillsides that have direct sun. So with that, what I will do if I'm going to try and get a bird, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that kind of weird mid-morning, midday session, I'll go into the Huntstand app and I will click on the 3D imaging section. Now, once I get into the 3D imaging section, I'll still look for a field that might have slopes coming up and open hardwoods on each side. Look for open hardwoods. Try to find one that's a south-facing slope or that's got direct sunlight on it, because whenever those morels pop up, that's where you start seeing all the turkeys scratching, and they're picking and trying to get them morels. So I hope this helps some of you guys out, and I hope y'all are getting prepared for turkey season, whether you're a beginner or you've been turkey hunting for a while and you really just ain't had that much luck. This is some of the things that I do to try and get on a bird and try to kill a bird throughout the years. And I've been pretty lucky and pretty fortunate to be able to kill quite a few birds in my lifetime. So I hope this helps some of you guys out, and I'll see you guys in the turkey woods.